Hello, all. I hope everyone is doing well today and that everyone had a lovely holiday weekend. So, today we're going to be doing our lesson 4 through 5 here and finishing that up. And you should be working on the draft of the first paper, which I discussed in the last video. But before we get started, let's take a look at our online course schedule. So, here is our lovely course schedule. So today is Tuesday, September 8th, and it is the start of week 3. If you have not already, please be sure that you have ordered textbooks. I would recommend going with the ebook because that is something that you can download automatically once you purchase it. And of course, the information for textbooks can be found on the syllabus and also on my website. And I do expect everyone to have textbooks in by week 3, so please keep in mind that I will not be providing future chapters for the discussion boards. It will be your responsibility to obtain the textbooks and to be doing the reading and the discussion boards for homework on a weekly basis. So what we're going to be doing this week is talking about academic essay structure. And we're also going to be doing the essay 1 pre-writing or drafting, and for homework you should be working on the draft. Same thing for Thursday. We'll be doing the essay number 1 pre-writing and continuing preparing the draft. And please keep in mind that the draft of the DCA is due on Tuesday, September 22nd, and we will be turning in the final draft of the DCA on the 24th. And the final draft will be turned in through Blackboard, through a Dropbox. And please keep in mind that I would recommend at least having a working draft by Thursday, September 17th, because we're going to be doing peer review. And we will also be talking about what peer review is and what it entails. But for now, we're just focusing on drafting. Here's where we're at for week 3. So like I said, we're going to talk about academic essay structure, should continue working on the draft of the first paper, and try to have that ready at least by the 17th or the 22nd at the latest. And like I said, the final draft of the DCA for our online course is due on the 24th. So with that in mind, I just want to revisit a couple things from last class. So the paper guidelines can be found under the paper guidelines tab, under the essay 1 materials and the discourse community essay. And here are the guidelines that you can find that I do highly recommend reading before sitting down to write it, or even looking at the guidelines as you're writing the paper, because it tells you how to be writing the paper. It helps with pre-writing and invention and drafting. And here is the rubric that I'll be using to grade the first paper. And I am also currently working on reading the diagnostic essays and grading those. Now keep in mind the diagnostic essay was just out of 10 points. It was for participation. But our essay number 1, the DCA, will be our first formally graded paper. And keep in mind you should also be working on your Google website. But before I revisit that, I just want to remind everyone that you can also find a sample of what the first paper might look like. And that when you turn in your final draft, you should also have your final draft and then also answer these DCA reflection questions, because all of these things will be going up on your Google website or your digital portfolio. So answering these questions after having your final revised draft of the DCA and then answering these questions at the end, and then you will turn in the whole document through a digital Dropbox once I have that up for us. So just as a little second revisitation here, if you're not sure how to be making a Google website, you can of course find instructions on here on how to create a Google website. And keep in mind that once I have the first paper graded and the diagnostic essays also done, you will be putting those up on your Google website page. And there's also this presentation here, help with Google websites, and also the digital portfolio process. And it also gives you instructions on how to create a Google website for your digital portfolio that will be graded at the end of the semester. So anyway, going from there, I would like to begin lesson 4 through 5, history of the essay and paper 1, invention. I'm aware I went through the first half of the history of the essay, but I will revisit some points. And there are a few things I would like to add into the lesson. So going from there, that's what I'll be covering today. Okay, so what are essays? What uses do they have? Now, essays are a means of expression in terms of audience. It depends upon their purpose. Some essays or pieces of writing might try to entertain, inform, persuade, like any other text. Now, some pieces of writing might be means of exploration, writing to learn via analysis or through the personal. And they can also act as means of evaluation, almost as like a gatekeeping device for the academic. So looking back at Montaigne's history of the essay here, so my concerns often in teaching a comp course is giving you tools to write effectively for your purposes and also giving you tools to write effectively for others' purposes. Now, it's interesting to keep in mind the word essay. And of course, as we mentioned, the essay, especially the academic essay, has become a thing with function and purpose, mostly a persuasive purpose. So rhetoric seeks to affect change in how an audience thinks, feels, or acts. Therefore, the rhetor, author, speaker, designer, must constantly consider their purpose and their audience to be effective. What audiences do you have in academic writing? Yep, it's always your professor. So in this case, your audience, your particular audience, would be me in this case. Now, Elbow suggests that we spend far too much time writing for this area, and that we'll never become good writers without the opportunity to write for other areas. Also note that for every shift in audience, we are likely to shift our compositions. Like for example, the essay number 1 reflections, that is the purpose of reflective writing, is looking back at your writing, seeing what can be maybe improved upon, and that reflective writing is also a way of private writing. Still, most academic essays will have that audience of 1, with a dual purpose of showing what we know and changing our audience. Now, to do this, we should employ rhetoric modes of appeal, establishing credibility authority, using ideas logically, or appealing to emotions. Now here is the invention for the discourse community analysis that we went through last week, and that I would highly recommend looking at in order to start invention or drafting. So what story can you tell about the process of becoming a member of your particular discourse community? So here is the second part of the lesson here, our day 5, the essay in all its forms. We'll be reviewing parts of the discussion board number 2 or the reading for week number 2, and also talking about academic essay structure, and also the discourse community analysis and beginning drafting. So here is a quick summary of generating ideas and drafting from chapters 29 and 30. It is a model for how to complete reading response assignments or discussion boards, and a starting point for discussion of idea generation. So what strategy did you try out from chapter 29 to begin drafting or pre-writing? How did it work? And when would you use it? When would you maybe not use it? So today we're going to begin generating ideas or drafting. So back in ancient Greece, they talked a whole lot about writing process, and that is basically where the writing process emerged from, and also from the same people that, back to Aristotle, that created Logos, Ethos, Pathos. And then going from there, they talked about invention, arrangement, and style. So why the separation of these particular things? So in chapter 30, they also talk about what strategies, tips, and habits help us move from generating ideas to drafting. So here are the basic components of an academic essay. You always want an introduction with a claim, reasons with supporting details, and a conclusion. Now that we've invented material for our essays, we need to arrange that material into an academic argument, aka an essay, in the form that is expected within most discourses of power. So here are the basic components of an academic essay: is the introduction, the claim, the reasons, supporting details, and conclusion. So here's a hypothetical situation to consider. A new disease has nearly wiped out all the plants in the world. In desperation, the US government went to work on a vaccine. However, the CDC has invented a cure that can save only one plant species. They are asking for a response from the public to decide which plant species we will save. Each community is to vote for one selection. All other plant species will die. So which plant would you choose? How will you convince your community? Make a case for the selection of that species for an upcoming community forum. And that's when you begin making decisions, inventing ideas, and begin drafting. So the introduction and the conclusion. The intro and conclusion serve as end caps to the body of your paper. Your introduction acts like a map for your readers. A good introduction addresses the what, why, and how of your topic. What is your essay going to discuss? Why is it important or useful? How are you going to argue your point? The goal of your conclusion isn't to introduce any new ideas, but to sum up everything that you've written. So first, the standalone paragraph. What is going on? Who is involved? It is imperative to explain to your reader the nature of the debate. Only after your audience understands the situation, only then can you make a claim. So here is a sample introduction to that hypothetical situation we were talking about. In response to the rash of unexpected plant deaths across the nation, the United States government has issued emergency action. Without the presence of many plant species, the life that humans are used to is radically changing. In a devastating turn of events, the US government was able to concoct a cure for only one out of millions of species on the planet. The Center for Disease Control recently issued a call for responses from the public to decide which plant species will be saved. The future of the planet hangs in the balance. So going from there, the basic components is an introduction, a claim, reasons, supporting details, the rebuttal, and the conclusion. So the claim is your true statement. A claim is the foundation of any given composition, or the thesis claim. Thesis statement and claim are interchangeable, they are the same thing. Therefore, it comes early within the essay, typically in the introduction. A claim is what you want the reader to know, think, believe, or do. Everything in the essay points back to the claim. It should be debatable and require evidence. What is our claim regarding the plant species to be saved? So a claim is what you want the reader to know, think, believe, or do. Everything in the essay points back to the claim. So here's a sample introduction with claim plus overall reasons, or thesis. After a long and private deliberation, it is clear that the sweet pea is the most beneficial and important plant on which to use this unique cure due to its enduring and efficient usefulness. So here's a sample intro for the DCA, or the Discourse Community essay. So in the essay, you want to make sure you explain the community, provide significance, and contain a thesis. So this particular paragraph is about a student in band. And they tell specific details. So bam, kapow, the first time I played the bass, I banged my drum so loudly that the conductor had to stop the band from playing to tell me to quiet down. I was so loud because I was so excited. I had never before given the opportunity to play an actual drum in a band. The high school band is made up of students who are just learning to play an instrument. Our primary focus is on marching and playing for the Richardson High School sports teams. The first time I saw my big brother marching with his flute, I felt the urge to follow in his footsteps, a belt with a much louder item to play. However, it wasn't all easy, and the struggle to become a legitimate member did not end with my conductor telling me to be quiet. Rather, it took me 4 long years of intense training to get the music, sound, steps, lingo, and group traditions down enough to be considered a legitimate member. So then the reasons. Reasons tell us why the claim is valid. They offer support for the claim. Each new reason is often a new paragraph. Paragraphs deal with only one point or idea at a time. Now, where do they belong and why? So that particular example was, I am a legitimate member of the Richardson High School marching band because I have mastered through intense training the music, sound, steps, lingo, and traditions of the group. So then here's the sample introduction with claim and one reason. After a long and private deliberation, it is clear that the sweet pea is the most beneficial and important plant on which to use this unique cure due to its enduring and efficient usefulness. Sweet peas grow very quickly and so will always cost very little to cultivate and care for, and it will ensure ongoing sources of inexpensive food. So going from there, supporting details or evidence, supporting details do just that. They support. Supporting details explain your reasons. They talk about reasons for the reader to better understand what is being said. So the claim is, I am a legitimate member of the Richardson High School marching band because I have mastered through intense training the music, sound, steps, lingo, and traditions of the group. So in other words, I have mastered the logos, the pathos, and the ethos of that particular group. So then going from there, when people are deciding to save a species, and this is with the intro with claim and then one reason and following evidence. When people are deciding to save a species, they may pick plants like orchids or Venus flytraps that are difficult to grow and therefore expensive and exclusive. Sweet peas, on the other hand, are common, cheap, and easy to breed so that every household can access them no matter the experience level or expense. Even the poorest and most struggling of us can afford those easy to grow plants. So basically what the writer is doing there in this hypothetical situation model that we were talking about is that they have a claim with an introduction and then reason and supporting evidence. It is clear that sweet pea that is affordable and an accessible option left. So the basic components of an academic essay. So here's an important note on that. The process of writing that we use invention arrangement style isn't as linear as it always appears. We typically change our minds about the claims we're making while we compose. So that is the process of composing. The invention stage never really ends until we've decided that it's ended. The same goes for the arrangement stage and the style stage. So going from there, assuming everyone has their draft or their introduction and thesis statement already drafted from the weekend, the assignment then from there is deciding upon a discourse community that you will write about for this assignment or for the DCA or the first paper. You may want to start with an outline that consists of your claim and major reasons that support that claim, and then continue drafting narrative material and organize it so it aligns logically with and supports your stated reasons. So keeping that in mind, the paper guidelines do have a sort of invention stage to it as well to be thinking about. So basically what you should be thinking about at this point is once you have your claim or thesis statement drafted, you may want to begin deciding, okay, what are going to be my supporting reasons? And then also your evidence or your body paragraphs. So it helps to break down the assignment one thing at a time. That's why I assign the introduction and the thesis statement over the weekend. You should have that ready, hopefully already. And then you should go from there and begin writing your body paragraphs. And then from there, the narrative material that this particular prompt is talking about right here is actually under the style and tone part of the guidelines. And of course, like we were talking about, you should have an introduction or thesis statement, your body paragraphs and supporting reasons, and also your topic sentences, and then a conclusion. So if you have any questions, you are free to email me at any time. And keep in mind that I do have office hours this week on Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. So if you would like, you can make an appointment and I can reserve a spot for you during office hours, or you can just stop in at any time from 3 to 5 p.m. on Friday. And also, as a small additional reminder, if you need extra help outside of the class and outside of class hours, you can also get help from the Learning Center with papers. And I do want to talk about that for a moment. So here is my syllabus for this course. And keep in mind that the Learning Center is offering free digital tutoring. And keep in mind there are specific tutors that tutor Composition 1 and 2. So you are free to get extra help from the Learning Center. From the tutors there, you can always call the Learning Centers. Here's the one for our campus. For the Olean campus, you can always call them. They are open Mondays through Thursdays, 9 to 5 p.m., and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And keep in mind that the Learning Centers are now located within our campus libraries. And you can always call them, or you can always email Beth Lacey or Janelle Gray, and they can also help with setting up an appointment through Starfish. And keep in mind that they can work with you if you need digital tutoring, they can work with you on that. They can either call you on your cell phone or through Zoom. They can also send emails back and forth if you need help with a paper, if you schedule an appointment with a tutor. And they also offer free digital tutoring. So all you have to do if you want to make an appointment through Starfish as well is click on these directions within my syllabus here and open the hyperlink. And it gives you specific directions on how to make a peer tutoring appointment. So all you do is go to My JCC and log into Starfish. It will be the same as when you log into Blackboard. And then what you're going to do from there is open the navigation menu and go into Courses. And if the Learning Center have peer tutors available for your course, you will see a tutoring service next to your instructor's information. And then you will schedule an appointment and choose what you need help with and continue, help with academic coursework. And then you hit continue. And then you will see available times for the dates selected on the calendar. And then from there, you can choose one of the tutors from there. And maybe take a look at to see if they tutor composition 1 and 2 in particular. And then from there, you can review your information on the confirmation page. Make sure to add your phone number to the comment box and click confirm. And then once it is confirmed, a staff member will reach out to you at the number you entered on the confirmation page to speak to you about your needs and find the best platform for you for your distance tutoring appointment to take place. And then they'll also send a confirmation email to your JCC email. So what do you want to do prior to your appointment? You can also send a reminder to yourself about when your appointment is set up for. So as a member of the Learning Center staff, we'll call you to gather information, figuring out which mode of tutoring is best for you based on your technology access. So phone is best when you don't have a reliable high-speed internet connection, or email to exchange documents, and can also be used for composition help with writing papers. So keep that in mind, that that is a free service for you that is available to you at any time during the semester if you need further help with papers. Or of course you can stop in during my office hours. Or email me and we can try to make an appointment sometime during the week. But like I said, what you should be working on is drafting the paper and also the second discussion board if you have not done that already. So what I did today was go over academic essay structure, the essay number 1 pre-writing, and you should continue working on the draft. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any further questions, feel free to email me at any time. Thanks and have a good day.